Computer. All right. All right, guys, we are recording. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. My name is Allie Asnachi, and I am an ambassador with It Works. A lot of you are on my team. A lot of you are sidelined to us. I see a lot of familiar faces. This is awesome. I know it was kind of last minute, so I'm super pumped that so many of you are jumping on. This is great. We have over 50 people on, and I know we're going to just continue to grow over the next few minutes. So the reason we're jumping on tonight is this morning I went to an event that was called, oh, see, there's somebody else calling me. If anybody on your team is like, I can't get through, remind them it's a Zoom, not a call. They keep calling my phone instead of using the Zoom ID. So I went to an event this morning. I live in St. Louis, where Washington University is. WashU is an amazing, really, really highly academically regarded university, and they have an incredible executive MBA program. It's like a 1-year crazy intensive executive MBA program, and so many of their graduates have gone on to do just incredible things, start businesses, be really thought leaders in their industry. So this morning they had a New Year kind of symposium called 60 Thoughts in 60 Minutes, or 60 Ideas in 60 Minutes. And it was 6 different graduates of the executive MBA program there sharing their 10 thoughts for the New Year's in 10 minutes each. And I just think it's really, really important as we're growing into the new year, we're casting our dreams and sharing our vision and really getting a very clear idea of what we want in our business and in our life, that we do our self-development. And so many of you know that you do your self-development every single day. And many of you are, you're reading your network marketing books and listen to the network marketing podcasts and things like that. But I want to really encourage you to also look outside our industry. Don't go pay for some sales training or something like that. But there are people who are thought leaders in every sector, whether it's real estate, whether it's construction, whether it's medicine, whether it's, products and what in innovation. And so that was something that was really, really cool this morning. Was I listened to 6 different people share their 10 thoughts for the year to start their year out right. And not a single one was in network marketing, but I mean, my hand was cramping at the end of the hour because I wrote down, a lot of people were like writing a note or two. I literally wrote down all 10 points from all 6 people. My best friend was sitting next to me. I was like, you're a crazy person. And just the correlations I was making back to our business were amazing. So I'm really hoping that some of this can really inspire you guys. I'm going to go through, I may not share all 10 from every person. Some of the people really connected to me more than others. Some of the topics I might really elaborate on. There were, the whole reason I actually went here was because there was a woman named Jennifer Labie who was speaking there, and she is the founder of Cotton Babies, which is a cloth diapering company, and she created a bunch of cloth diapers. Well, 6 years ago, I worked at that retail store here in St. Louis because it was a way I could leave my job and still be with my baby. So her and I got to know each other when I worked in her little tiny retail store. And now she's grown into just this empire, and it was so cool listening to her. And she had her and I still talk just as professionals sometimes. And it's cool. So I'm going to dive right in. I'm so excited. Like I said, this is being recorded. So I'm going to try to be concise. If you guys have specific questions on something, I'd love you to put them in the chat. But I'm going to try to get through the 60 points in 60 minutes. And then I'm going to try to do a lot faster than 60 minutes. And then I will open for questions. But if you have something really specific, either write it down or write it in the chat so we don't, I don't want you to lose that thought. All right. So the first woman who talked was an attorney. So she was a school teacher, then went back to law school. She's an attorney, and now she actually manages like a board council for like corporate counsel, like all over the country or something crazy like that. So her first thing was every single day, every single week, you want to start with the 3 things you're grateful for. And I love this. She said in her planner, at the very top corner, every week, it says grateful, 1, 2, 3. And she starts her Monday morning from her bed, and she writes the 3 things she's grateful for. and she wants to come up with new things every single week. And sometimes she says on Monday mornings, she's pissed it's Monday morning. She doesn't have 3 things, but by maybe Tuesday or Wednesday she does. And then every single morning she reads those before she gets out of bed. And it just reminds her that, she is grateful every day for waking up and breathing and being able to walk, and that she's waking up and the husband sleeping next to her is alive and sleeping and breathing and healthy, and that she has heat in her house, and she has a roof over her head, and she has a warm, cozy bed, and she's got coffee downstairs to make, and those little things. So throughout the year, she writes them, and every day she goes through, the first week of the year, she reads 3 things. The second week of the year, she's reading 6 things. The third, and so she reads them every day, and I love that. So by the end of the year, she's just overwhelmed with this abundance of gratefulness, and it really brings her as a positive spirit throughout the year, and I love that. Oh, this was one of my favorites. She said, keep a list of your top 10 days. And these aren't your wedding day. These aren't the birth of your child. These aren't the day you graduated from nursing school or whatever. These are the days that are just amazing, whether it's something with your friends, yourself, your spouse, that you just had the most incredible day doing something. Keep a list and revisit it. When you're feeling like you had those bad days, revisit. For me, the best friend I was sitting next to this morning, I leaned to her and I said, one of my top 10 days is when we were in San Diego together last month. Like, just her and I went to a wedding together, and the day after the wedding, we just had a total day of fun in San Diego. And I was like, that was a top 10 day. Like, me and my best friend exploring the city, hanging out, eating good food, like, that was a top 10 day. And don't just think about it, but like, think about how you felt. Think about how good that felt to whatever you were feeling and experiencing. So keep your list of your top, top 10, and, show how many great days we really have. This woman said, sometimes it's like she grows into 15 through the year because she's like, well, I can't bump off one of those days for a better day. But when you're having a bad day, you can look back at that, like how many great days we really have. That can just give you a lot of perspective. All right, here's a great thing for you guys and a challenge. I want you all to write this down, and I want you to do it when you get off the call tonight, is make a list of your greatest accomplishments of 2017. It can have absolutely nothing negative on that list whatsoever. Things you're most proud of. So stop focusing on what you didn't achieve and start focusing on what you did. What did you achieve? Did you, create a new habit? Did you start running and ran a 5K? Did you work your business every single day? Did you get pregnant? Did you get married? Did you, whatever, what did you accomplish? Focus on the positive. So let's see, I'm going to skip that one. That doesn't apply because some of these are very like corporate environment that don't really apply to us. Set goals just for you. We're talking so much about dreams and vision and goals this time of year. And it's really easy to make our goals only about our business, right? Only about our business, because it feels like, well, we're making our goals for our work stream board. And it's like, but what are your goals for you? For me, one of those goals is I want to get back to running, and I want to enjoy running again. I run. I don't like to run. I want to get to a place where I enjoy running. That's a personal goal. Maybe you want to start a hobby. Maybe you want to learn how to do calligraphy. Maybe you want to take all your digital or your hard photos and archive them to digital. Maybe you want to get every photo you have backed up. Whatever that, set a few of those personal goals for the year, and revisit them so okay, I'm going to do that. And that's okay to do those things for you too, because as I always say, when you get some of that clutter out of your head and those things you've been wanting to do, that helps you focus on so many other things too. Do the most important thing each day first thing. So, we talk a lot about writing your 6 list. It's hard to separate between important and urgent, but urgent isn't always important, and important isn't always urgent. But that very most important thing, the thing that's going to add the most value to your life or to your business, do that first thing. And maybe that even means up getting up 10 minutes earlier so you can do that at 6:30 in the morning instead of 6:45 or whatever that looks like. Do your number one most important thing of the day first. And I'm guessing that's not laying in bed and picking up your phone and checking Facebook. It's probably not the most important thing of your day. So do that. Let's see, help others because it's the right thing to do. I love that. We are building our businesses for ourselves, but if we shift our mindset to helping others, your whole business will change. Stay current and relevant in the quickly changing world. Find a few sources that you trust, a few, whether it be news outlets or podcasts or news or whatever it is. I love an email, and I'm going to look it up right now because I can't even think of the name of it. I get an email every single morning because I feel like I need like my news like highlights. And it is called, I'm going to tell you right now, if I could get it to pull up, The Daily Skim. I watch it oh my gosh, my phone is still blowing up with people. It's called The Daily Skim. And that's like one of my news outlets that every day I try to like read that email to like get highlight of what's happening in the world, because in our business and not being in an office and stuff, sometimes it can be really hard. You can get really distracted and forget what's happening in the real world. Work on your network when you don't need anything. Spend days meeting with people who can add value to your life, building your network, not because you have to get 2 more LCs, building your network because they may add value to your life at some point. And be a leader. That was her number 10. All right. So the next person, this gentleman is a franchisee of a Chick-fil-A, the one like 3 blocks up the street from me. So I had to really laugh, and I was like, oh, he probably gets $50 a week of my money because I feed my children there all the time and they play there, and we love us some Chick-fil-A. And Chick-fil-A has really set the bar from a restaurant standpoint. They're open 1 less day a week than almost any other major chain, and yet they are double and tripling their revenue, and it comes down to culture. And that's something he talked a lot about. I love this. He said, reduce complexity, focus efforts and efficiencies by getting rid of the difficult things. What doesn't make sense? And, a lot of us, we talk at different times about spinning our wheels. You're spinning your wheels and things seem hard. Get rid of the things that seem hard, that feel forced, whether it's in your life or your business. And I keep saying that, but I want you guys to know that I'm talking life and business. Get rid of what doesn't make sense for you. If it doesn't feel right, if it's not lucrative for you, if it's not adding to your life or your business, get rid of it. Increase your efficiencies by focusing your efforts on pinpointing what does work for you. He was talking about being an employer brand and how he attracts and retains the right talent because he really shares what it looks like to work for him. And what I took from this is that the brand we put out on social media, people don't work for us, but they are trusting in us and coming to us because they see something else that they want to work with. So while we're not their boss, we still have to, in essence, just showcase an employer brand. And what sort of employer are we telling people we are? Are we positive? Are we excited? Are we passionate? Are we consistent? Or are we hit or miss? Are we, talking terrible about ex-boyfriends on social media? Are we whining about, this, that, or the other? Or are we remembering that our social media and our life is our brand? We are our own brand, and we need to create a brand that is consistent. Anybody who knows anything about marketing and branding, that, it's an image, and it has to be something very, very consistent. You can't be up one day and down another. People lose so much trust, and you lose so much credibility from a marketing standpoint if you are up and down and all over the place. It's that consistency that builds credibility and trust, and is what draws people into you. And that's why people want to be part of that culture that you're creating for your team. I loved this. Guerrilla recruit is what he says he does. Find what you really want and figure out where they are. So stop thinking that every single random ad and person from a mom group or whatever is the right person for your team. Figure out who you really want. What characteristics do you want? What kind of people do you want? What are they posting about daily? Figure out who you want on your team, and then figure out where to go find them. So stop waiting for them to come to you. Stop waiting for them to magically appear in your path, or stop spinning your wheels recruiting all these people that you're like, ugh, well, maybe if I recruit her, I can convince her to be positive and stop talking about, all the trash on social media or whatever. Like, figure out what you want and go find them, and figure out where you can find them. And maybe there's like a certain group, or maybe there's a certain, play, whatever. There's a certain demographic that seems to really work with you. Go get it. Let's see. Oh, I liked this. What does tenure really look like? And he said he treats everybody's time at his business, like I said, he's a Chick-fil-A, as a tour of duty. He was former military, and they provide value to his business. He provides value to their life. So it's a mutual value exchange. But he knows that everyone's not going to work at Chick-fil-A for him for 15 years. And while we want everybody on our team to work for us for 15 years, work for the business, be a lifer with It Works, everyone has their own tour of duty. And they're part of our business at a certain time for a certain reason. And while it can be incredibly difficult when someone says they're just over it, they're just done, they just don't have it in them, they served the purpose they needed in your team at that time. And it might have been for your team. It might have been for someone else in your team. It might have been for you. It might have taught you something as a person. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that if someone's time is done, you had a mutually beneficial relationship, and they can be gone, and someone else is going to come in. And that's the ebb and flow of that business. Mark always talks about it's a river flowing. We're not a pond, that the water has to come in and the water has to be coming out. And if that water's not ever flowing, it becomes stagnant and stinky and nasty. And we don't want stinky water. We want fresh, clean water flowing through our business every day. That doesn't really apply. Pour into one more. I like that he said that. He says every day he looks at his staff and looks at his employees and says, who can we grow in 2018? Who can he help? And when you look at your whole team, look at them in their eyes and think, who needs me today? Who needs a piece of me? Who can I send one message to? You don't need to send personal messages to every single person on your team. But who on your team has been quiet? Who on your team didn't show up on a Zoom? Who on your team haven't you heard from in a while? They might need you. So help one more. Send one more message. Help people by personally developing yourself. It's going to inspire you to help others and share some of that development. Let's see. Some of my writing is really sloppy here, so I tried to decipher most of it. Where or when? No, that doesn't make sense. Sorry, guys. All your resources need to support an idea. And what that means is your time and your money are your most valuable resources, right? Your time is really your 100% most valuable resource, especially in this business where it doesn't cost much to run our business. What you're doing with your time that is so valuable has to support the ideas. You have a clear path of where you want to go. You've set the infrastructure. You've seen your charts. Every moment of every day, and this is something my husband has been preaching to me since the day I started this business, is every moment of every day, I need to ask, is the decision I'm making adding value to my family? Is it adding value to my business? That's it. And so when we're working, we're spending our time on our business instead of doing anything else, right? So we want to make sure that what we're doing is supporting, as we utilize that resource, it's supporting your goals and the things that you need to achieve. If you're sitting there taking your work time scrolling Facebook, but you actually need to be recruiting distributors, the way you're using your time isn't supporting that purpose. So just make sure the ideas you have are being supported by your resources and you're not wasting your resources. Strong personal relationships equal happy and more productive employees. And that is the Chick-fil-A way. And you guys, anybody who's ever been to a Chick-fil-A knows that when you say thank you, they say my pleasure. They are all smiling. They are unbelievably helpful. As a mom of 3 kids, when I walk in there alone, you better bet they are all there bringing me my drinks, getting the high chairs, helping us. But strong personal relationships equal happier and more productive employees. And while our team isn't our employees, it's so true. You guys, when you have a strong personal relationship with, somebody on your team, they're going to be happier. They're going to be productive. They're going to trust in you more, and they're going to be less likely to leave. If they're having a problem, they're going to talk to you instead of going and hiding in a corner. If they have a strong relationship to you and they see you recruiting and succeeding and promoting, they're going to want that too. And so you guys, those strong personal relationships are crucial as you bring people into your business. But once you sign them, you cannot let them go. We're so consumed with creating social media relationships that we forget that once they're on our team, that's just the beginning. You've got to push that relationship so much further and get to know them. Have a phone call. Ask about their kids. If you're a big recruiter and you had to keep a notebook of every person on your team, and are they married? Do they have kids? Where do they live? What's their housing situation? What are their struggles? What are their rights? Do it until you know it. Because as you show you're invested in them, they will be invested in you. It will bring that relationship together, and you will have a happier and more productive team. I promise. Okay, I need a drink. His last point was mind, body, and soul have to be healthy before your business is ever going to be healthy. This is a huge, huge goal of mine in 2018. And when he said it to me, it was like, oh my gosh, slap in the face, because it's so true. My number one priority in my business this year is taking care of myself. For 3 years, I have been pregnant or nursing babies. I have been sleep deprived. I have been stressed. I have let my physical health go by the wayside. I've eaten on the go. And I've decided to be the best mom, to be the best wife, to be the best leader, to be the best mentor, to be the best anything. I have to love and care for myself. So you guys, I have a daily schedule I've been working on, and every single day I have time carved out for self-development, for exercise. I have time carved out during the week to meal prep. I'm utilizing those resources. We all have the same 24 hours a day, and it comes down to time management. There is time to take care of yourself, and don't ever forget the value of reading, listening, taking a moment. When I go on a run, I used to always listen to an audiobook or a podcast. I don't anymore. I go in silence to just let my mind clear, because there's so much value in pouring into yourself, and there's even more value in letting your mind process and get rid of the negative and the toxins. So mind, body, soul healthy is the number one most important thing in your business, he says. All right, next guy. I'm trying to talk really fast. Okay, let's see. Somebody say repeat that. People work harder when they're appreciated and edified. Yes, in our business, I think this helps them stick with it so much longer. Oh my God, Jenny, you are so true. And Jenny Thomir, you are an amazing example of this. Your recognition of your team is endlessly amazing, and I strive to be more like that. But it's true, you guys. People stick with you if they feel appreciated and loved, and feel like they know you and you know them, as more than just a box on your chart, as a real person. Because you guys, those aren't boxes. Those are real people with real lives and real goals and real families. And they spent a real $99 to do this with you, and they really need to make more money. They're not just a box on your chart that's going to be 400 GB. All right, this next gentleman, he is the president and CEO of a nonprofit in St. Louis called Jazz St. Louis, which is like a performance hall, but also is a nonprofit for jazz education and jazz therapy. It's a really cool organization. It used to be right across the street from an organization I worked for. And I loved his because he tied everything back to music. So some of these I'll just read off, and some of them I'll tie into what, how I felt that they related to our business. Oh, this is like, I have like 4,000 stars around this one. This might be the only thing I need to read from him. When you think you know what you're doing, you are likely on the decline. So think about that. When you think you know what you're doing, you are likely on the decline. You always have to be evolving and moving forward. And he talked about Herbie Hancock and how he had this like perfectly amazing song, and everybody was like, it's amazing, it's amazing, amazing. Why do you keep messing with it? Like, why do you keep changing it? And he's like, because I can't, perfection doesn't exist, and I can always make it better. And when you feel like you've got a handle on this business, you fall into management mode, and your business will decline. And it will not be overnight. It may be over years. But when you're like, oh, I made it, I'm a triple diamond, I totally got this, I got my systems. The second you get that mindset and you think you've gotten it, or you've achieved it, or you've like arrived, you're going downhill. I've watched it happen. It's happened to me. It's happened to ambassador after ambassador. And so many of us have had these conversations. There's so many presidentials who have never gotten to ambassador because they thought they arrived at presidential, and things fell apart, and they never kept that momentum going. Don't let critics or fans lead you astray. You know what you're doing. You know you're doing it for you. So the haters can obviously distract you, right? But also don't let the fans lead you astray. The fans that are saying, oh, you're amazing, you're doing so great, this is so amazing. Don't let your head get full of it to think that, getting back to that last point, that you've arrived. Practice. Self-improvement, everyday discipline. There is no such thing as perfection. Stop striving for it, because nothing is perfect. But we can evolve, and we will never be perfect in our craft, so we have to continue to practice. Never compromise your art. You know your values, you know your ethics, you know how you want to lead, you know how you want to build, you know how you want to recruit. Never compromise that for a bonus. Never compromise that for a quick dollar. Never, if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Learn to accept help. My best friend sitting next to me today was like, huge elbow at me, because this is one of my biggest weaknesses. Learn to accept help, not just ask. It's easy to ask for help, right? Oh yeah, can you help me with this? And then they start to, and you just like take over again, and are like, I can do it. It's easier for me to do it myself. Learn to truly accept help, because we cannot do everything ourselves. It is impossible. And if you want to be really, really incredible in this business, you have to learn to delegate, and you have to learn to trust. You have to learn to ask for help. Listen. All voices are equal. Let me see. My notes are really, really messy here. Great harmony comes from listening to each other. If a band is all on the stage and no one's listening to each other, they're going to sound terrible together, right? And the lead singer isn't always the best one, right? But sometimes they just want to listen to themselves. They don't listen to their band. So he said, just because you're in charge, your voice isn't the most important. So I'll say that again, because that was a huge one for me today. I mean, these are just nuggets after nuggets of goodness. Just because you're in charge, your voice is not the most important. So don't ever feel like, you are the boss, because you're not. But you can lead. But just because you're the leader of your team does not mean that what you say goes. And, I really have seen this in businesses I've worked for before, that the CEO is like, well, I've done this before, I know, and so it's my way or the highway. And people don't want to work for people like that. So same goes if, as a leader, someone's saying, well, I'm really like having success with this message, or I'm thinking I'm going to do it this way. And if you're saying, no, this is how you do it, this is how you do it, this is how you do it, they will not want to be part of that. Because just because you're the leader or you're the most tenured does not mean that your voice is the most important. Keep going, even if you make a mistake. Mistakes happen. There's how we learn. How we get up from those mistakes and move on really is where our true character shows through. So you have to keep going. Have your own voice. Don't be a copycat. Take your influences and make them their own. If a musician is, there are still like so many people calling. So if you guys are hearing from your teams, like my phone has had probably like 30 missed calls while we've been on here. So if you guys have people who are having trouble, let them know, get on Zoom, use this meeting ID. Have your own voice. Like, so if a musician got up and, tried to do a cover and didn't really make it their own, try to make it sound exactly like the other band, it's gonna be terrible, right? So it's the same thing with, there may be top leaders and friends and sidelines in this business that truly inspire you. Take what they're doing and make it your own, put it in your own voice. And that's when true authenticity is going to come through to your potentials, to your team. Take what they have as inspiration and make it your own. And then his last point was have fun. He said life is too short to not have fun. Okay. Whew. Oh, this guy was super business. He worked for a medical innovation company, actually up towards the Quad Cities. I see a few of my Quad Cities people on here. But he was a WashU grad as well. His first one was smile. It's a force multiplier. You can't fake it because people will know. Like if I was sitting here like this, hey guys, I'm really happy today. It's a really good day. Like, are you joking me? You guys would know that it's fake. Smiles, a true smile cannot be faked. And I want to encourage you guys that when you meet people, truly smile. Whatever light you're bringing into the world, whatever energy you're putting out in the world, when you smile and make eye contact and connect with even a stranger, they're going to feel that. And this is why I think it's really, really important to either get on the phone with people, get in person with people, or voice message people. Because when you're having those conversations and you're smiling, your voice sounds different and your energy comes across differently. And that will never, ever, 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 no matter how much technology improves, come through in the written word via text or email. So as much as you can use your voice, use it and smile, because whatever energy you're putting in the world, it will be multiplied tenfold by just sharing that smile. Flatten the sine curve. I really like this. So any of you guys who are in math or remember trig, the sine curve is like this, right? Like big ups and downs. That's a sine wave. And he says, don't let task maintenance become an urgent situation. So we all have things that, I am the worst at this. I was the worst at this in corporate environments. I've been worse at this in myself. And this is something that after he said this, I was like, wow, I have to change that. So what we do, every business has the boring stuff, right? The stuff we don't want to do. The pulling a report from eSuite, the cleaning out your email, those infrastructure boring tasks that are like, it doesn't feel income producing, so it's really easy to just push them aside, right? So if we make them just a tiny 5-10 minutes daily, they just never build up. But almost everybody does is they let it all build till suddenly becomes a crisis. So it says, flatten the sine curve. Somebody was asking. Sine, S-I-N-E. A sine curve is like a big wave like that. And so it becomes a crisis. So you're here, and then suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, here. And there's like panic because like, I have to send out all these things and I have to do all this stuff. And I feel like so panicked. But if you just use those little bit of daily boring tasks that you don't want to do and don't feel like they're income producing, I promise you, if you do them for 10 to 15 minutes a day, it never feels urgent. And same with self-development is where I thought this too, is that if you do your little bit of self-development every day, it's going to constantly be dripping on you and trickling on you instead of being like, oh my gosh, I'm like really feeling down in the dumps. I better read a whole book this week. Like that doesn't do anything. Little bits every single day. Doing taxes. Oh my God, Jennifer. Yes, taxes. Every week, go through your receipts, go through your expenses, whatever that is. Because I am the queen of like, holy crap, it's April 13th and I have a pile this big. Like, nightmare. I finally had to hire a bookkeeper because I was just a train wreck. I'm determined. 2018 is the year of not being a train wreck anymore, you guys. I'm going to do it. Tell stories. Share your mission, share your vision, share your values, celebrate people, whether it's to your team, to your potentials in your life. Just tell stories. Be passionate. It's infectious. This really related to our business. You can't lead from a computer. Show up when your people don't expect it. If you know that some people on your team are doing a wrap party, text them a few hours earlier and say, hey, can I come? If you know that some of your team is having a happy hour together, show up. Show up when they don't expect you to. Call them on the phone. It is a lost art. Call them on the phone. I'm looking at 2 people here. I have a baby screaming. I'm looking at 2 people I can see on my screen right now that today I had questions for, or in the last couple of days. So I just picked up the phone instead of texting them. I could have just texted them. I text with them all the time. But I was like, you know what? Maybe they need to hear my voice. Maybe I need to hear their voice. And you never know what conversation is going to come from that. Don't be afraid to show up, because you cannot lead from behind a computer. You have to get away from the email. You have to get away from the messages. And even if that just means going live on your team page so you see your face, having a Zoom, having a call, let them hear your voice, because getting back to that last point, being passionate is infectious. So from the written word, they can't ever sense your passion. Let's see. That doesn't apply. That doesn't apply. Some of these, he was real corporate-y. Character is everything. That was his last piece. And I think that's so true. We talked about this with the last one, that your character, your ethics, your values, at the end of the day, you need to know in your heart of hearts that you did what was right for you and what was right for your team, and not trying to be like anyone else, not trying to do things for anyone else. But remember your character, and it won't always win. Let's see. This next person is the woman I talked about right at the beginning, Jennifer LeBee, who I worked with, and I consider myself friends with. And she's just an amazing inspiration to me, how she really, she had to make a choice 15 years ago between, or I guess 12 years ago now, between food and diapers. And she said, enough is enough. And she invented a cloth diaper on a whim. And she sold things in her house to get materials. And she invented a cloth diaper and figured out how to do it. And her first batch of them she made 1,200 of them, and they sold out. And now she is the owner and CEO of a multi-million dollar international company. She owns 27 patents on different diaper technology. She owns like 5 cloth diaper brands and like a cloth diapering website and retail store. Like, amazing woman. And she's not much older than me. But yeah, she talks about living in a 1-bedroom basement apartment with no windows. And they were down to their last dimes, and it was between buying diapers for their baby or buying food for their family. And she was like, why am I spending money on disposable diapers? She is amazing. Who's this? Jen is one of my favorite people. She's the only reason I'm able to cloth diaper my kids. So with my first, I worked at her store. And actually later on, she came back to me and asked me to go be their social media director, and it just wasn't the right timing or the right fit. And honestly, I don't think I was the right person for the job, but her and I have maintained our friendship relationship, but I really looked to her as a mentor. So hearing her today was really cool. So I'll get into her stuff. So I have a ton of notes. Shocker. All right. I'm doing good on my time. Build your community. So for her, that's St. Louis, that they brought their factory here. They're really, investing in their own community. Don't be afraid to build in your backyard. Don't be afraid to blitz the people at the grocery store you go to every day. Don't be afraid to blitz the girl at the gas station. Building within your community and being able to have your team, have your team in your backyard who you can get together with, you can do a party with, you can do a vendor show together. I'm telling you, that local team, if you don't have it, blitz and party and vendor show and create it, because building your community locally gives you so much strength and light. I loved this. Avoid perfection paralysis. Evolution builds character. Just start and don't prepare. And at this point, she showed a picture of her first cloth diaper and what the one she uses now. And she's like, this wasn't perfect. This was terrible compared to what it is now. But if I had looked at every other technology and researched every other thing out there and thought, I have to make it perfect before I sell it, she's like, I never would have been here. Just start, because evolution builds your character. Evolution will teach you so much. And we learn from our mistakes. So do not be paralyzed by the even concept of perfection. Just go. Run towards your mountains. If you're running, keep going. That big, scary dream, that big, scary goal. Think of a mountain. You make it halfway up and you're like, shit, this sucks. This is hard. I don't want to hike up this mountain anymore. You can't quit. You have to persist when things are hard, and things are going to be hard. You guys, in this business, things are going to be hard. In a job you have, things are going to be hard. In things in life, things are going to be hard. But you can't quit. You know, if you quit, you're always going to wonder what could have been, where could things have gone, what was at that summit of that mountain. So find your mountain and run towards it. Run at it. And even when it really sucks and it's really hard, keep going, because you're going to get that summit and then you can go coast down the other side and ride the wave. And that's the best part. Practice hearing. Don't just listen, really hear what people say. Really listen intentionally. When there is somebody telling you, a friend telling you that they're struggling, or hear what people aren't saying. I think sometimes even more than what they are. Really, really practice hearing, across cultures, across everything. You need to know what people are saying so you can truly share a solution to their problem and be a friend and help them. But if you're not truly listening and hearing to what people are saying, your help is going to sound like a sales pitch instead of a friend reaching out. Know your people. So this comes down to your team. So this is good. This is really good. Know your people. So you want to know your team, obviously, but also know that everyone's not going to be for you. You're not going to be for everything else. So when someone isn't into you, you don't have to be into them. And that's okay. If someone's kind of a jerk on social media, you don't need to win them over. Who freaking cares? When someone doesn't really seem that into you and they just want to chirp, 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 and they sound so smart and they're really trying to convince you why something their way is better or whatever. Some people are just bullies, and excuse my language, but some people are just assholes, and you don't have to be into them. They're not into you. This is my favorite line of the whole morning. Beware the articulate incompetent. I'll let you guys all write that down. Beware the articulate incompetent. So what does that mean? Somebody who knows nothing about network marketing, nothing about our products, nothing about you, nothing about your story, but they can write you a novel and they can go off on your post and they can be your mother-in-law at Thanksgiving chirping away about how network marketing is a scam, and they almost suck you into believing it, right? Because they're so articulate, but they don't know crap. They don't know anything about you or what you do or this industry. Beware the articulate and competent. Don't you ever take one word of what they say to heart. Just, okay, great. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate your opinion. I'm not into you. You're not into me. Peace. No. Um, let's see, practice different. Find the people who annoy you and figure out what it is about them that's annoying you and really take a look. Is that a reflection of something you're missing, something you wish you had, something you don't like about yourself? But practice understanding different personalities and really looking at your personality and seeing the things you like and the things you don't and the things you have the power to change. Be a bridge. She talked about they have a campaign called Every Good Mom, but everyone is good regardless of their practice. Be a bridge, treat people well, treat people the way you want to be treated. Don't make assumptions, don't make judgments. Just like we don't want people judging us because they don't know our story, we don't know theirs. Open your ears, open your heart, open your mind to hear their story. But be a bridge to people, and trust that, don't pass those judgments. Trust that everyone's trying to be a good mom. Everyone's trying to do good. And then share this as an option to help them. Do what you love, simple, seek greatness. Find the niche in this business that drives you and fires you up and do it. And change everything culturally. Be the one who sees that you can change what it looks like to be a college kid with no money. You can be a college kid with a lot of money. We are changing the face of retail. We are changing the face of the health and wellness industry, with having natural products, having great effective products with no additives. We're changing what it looks like for a stay-at-home mom to be able to bring in an income. No longer do we have to run a daycare out of our basement. We can do this, and we have the power to make those changes. All right, next guy. He is a very, very prevalent surgeon here in the St. Louis area. He's a medical researcher, is a major, major medical innovator, and Centene Corporation, who's a big medical company here in St. Louis, acquired him as their chief medical officer recently. So he really said that it's supposed to be like a 50-50, but it's really like 200% jobs. He was really funny. And he had a lot of good little nuggets, and I'm going to keep trying to go pretty fast. This is my last guy, I think, and then I just have some notes from the questions. I'm going to really do this, 60 and 60. All right. Personal characteristics are more important than personal performance. So, let's see. Your impact on your network will lead to your position and performance. So those personal characteristics, that how you act with your network, if you are a positive, driven, outgoing person, it doesn't matter if you're an exec, if you're a Ruby, if you're out there with your network, standing tall like a double diamond, that network is going to send back to you people who you need in your organization. When they meet someone, they're going to be like, gosh, wow, you should really go meet Claudia. You should really go meet, Renee. You should, whatever that is. So personal characteristics are more important than personal performance. I want to make sure I'm not missing any questions here. People are so smart, they're dumb. That's a good way to put it. Okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything really important there. Character comes from a balance of warmth and strength. You can be both. You don't have to be some like super hard ass, and you don't have to be some warm and cozy. You can be both. You can be, and this is what I always say, my ultimate goal is to be like an amazing, loving mom, to have so much fun, to love on my team, and to be a complete badass boss babe, making a boatload of money. Like, I can do both. Like, I can be a powerhouse businesswoman. I can build an empire. I can build a legacy for my team. And I can still be like the goofy mom that rolls around on the floor with my kids. I can do that and you can too. And I think it makes you a better person to find both of those, and don't segment yourself just on one side of that line. If you, oh, this is good. If you want to understand a person's character, give them power. So in a corporation, obviously give them a leadership role, see how they act. With our organization, I look at that as like, we have leadership thriving within our teams. Give your leadership and your emerging leaders the opportunity to lead a call. Give them the opportunity to, present at a meeting, share something, whatever that means. People can be great during both the ups and the downs, but giving someone that little bit of power is going to really show you their true character and how they thrive and how they wanted to thrive. Like, do they want that position or not? And it's going to show you if you should be pouring into them or not. When we face adversity, we need to be managers, not victims. We need to see the problem, assess the problem, and figure out how to solve the problem. Not sit there and say, oh, woe is me. Credit card keeps declining. I don't know what I'm going to do. I need that 30 BV. Okay, credit card decline. Call the person. Oh, amazing. They don't answer. They don't want to fix it. They don't want to problem the product. Sit there and be the victim and be 30 BV short, or go out and get another order. Figure out a different solution. So when we face adversity, which in every business, we will face tons and tons of adversity, be managers, not victims. Develop a personal mission statement. And this is something I'm going to work on, and I'm going to challenge all of you to work on this. I'm going to post it on some team pages in the next few days. It keeps you centered. Keep it your compass. So whatever that mission statement is, whether it's you want to be an inspiring person, it may start really long, it may evolve over the years, but make it your compass and make it know that, everything you do, whether it's career decisions, family decisions, moving decisions, whatever, does it fall in line with your mission statement, your true goals for your life. Not just your 2018 goals, I'm going to check this off. Like, your true purpose in your life is your mission statement. And once you get that really clear in your head about everything you do in your life, you want to be for this reason, nothing's going to really be left to question anymore. So create that personal mission statement. Use your mission to inspire people. Embrace challenges, but be prepared first. Know that challenges are going to come. Absolutely. Be prepared for them. Be thorough, know your business, know your life, know what's going on. So when challenges come, you are educated to be able to manage them. I'm still on. Sorry, Tom just came up and said, how'd it go? So let's see. To lead an initiative, socialize a vision. So if you really see ways something's going to move forward, you want to share that, socialize it, make it a norm. And so I see that with our team, be the best at your craft. If you are the best at whatever, if you see, okay, we're going to do a party push and we're going to just party like crazy, socialize that vision, make it exciting, share it, and make it something that you can all do together. Because people always want to do things in groups. Constructively challenge people to inspire performance. It's not on you to fix it. I love this because I really related to this in our business. So when someone is really, really struggling and they come to you with a problem, you could give them a solution, right? Or you could challenge them and inspire them to perform on their own and fix it themselves. It's not on you to fix every problem. It's on you as a leader to inspire. And you as a leader to create some sort of personal connection so that when someone hears something for you or talks to you, they're inspired to get up and move and take action, fix something, make a change, whatever it may be. And his last one was measure your team by passion and loyalty. Volume doesn't matter, BV doesn't matter, rank doesn't matter. When you know that your team is thriving and you've got the right people work with you, when you see a group page or text message or a room full of people that are passionate and loyal. And passionate, loyal people will move those mountains. Passionate, loyal people will run toward those mountains. Passionate and loyal people are the ones that will create a change, and they will stick with you. And when you surround yourself with a tribe of passionate and loyal people, the sky is the absolute limit. All right. Oh, look at that. 9:59. I got through the 60 in 60 minutes. So then they did a little bit of Q&A. Let's see. I'm trying to think of anything that was like a really great, I mean, there were so many good nuggets. Like I could have just sat there and been like, okay, repeat everything for another hour. Let's see. Every person has a time and need. Every person you interact with. And when you meet them, think about how you can connect and inspire in that moment. What can you give to that person of yourself? Whether it's somebody that's going to be in your business or not, or just somebody in your life. Every person has that time and need. And that's what I was talking about. You can look, like I can look here. I can look at the 80, there were 83 people on the Zoom to start. I can look at all of them and I can think, who needs me? Who needs me today? Who is in a place that I can send a message after this and be like, hey, thanks for being on my Zoom. I hope you're doing okay. And that might be everything. Then we can talk and it can inspire them in some kind of moment. Stay focused on your ultimate goal and how it adds value to your life. The greater good, not just income. If your only goal is to make $20,000 a month, you get nothing. It's an empty goal. If your goal is changing lives, if your goal is inspiring others, if your goal is to help 30 people make $500 a month so they're not stressed out at the end of the month about their bills, that's where it adds value. So stay focused on that ultimate goal, not that intermediary goal, that ultimate goal and how it adds value to that greater good, not just income. Competencies can be taught, but character cannot. Do not try to recruit people that are nothing but trash on your newsfeed. Like, get rid of them. You don't need that negativity in your life. And like, really, do you think you're going to recruit them and they're going to turn to like some happy, shiny person? Like I don't know if Amy Smith is on here, but I sent her a screenshot yesterday and I was like, wow, can't wait for this dude to bring some positivity and light into my team. And it was like, oh, stupid hoes taking all my money and she took my car. And I was like, okay, unfriend. Like, you're not going to add light and positivity to my team. You're not going to add light and positivity to my life. Do you need this in your business or in your life? Maybe. But it's not on me to change you. It's on me to find people with character and attitudes and passion that connect with me and they have a vision and a purpose, and I can teach them everything else. You guys, eSuite can teach them everything else. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. I promise you that. Create a team culture that people cannot resist. Build friendship and loyalty that people don't dare leave because it fulfills them. And that's what our teams do, you guys. Friendship, fun, and freedom is not some catchy tagline. It is so, so true. The friendship and fun is what keeps people in. So you cannot just recruit people and leave them high and dry. You are sponsoring them, and you are sponsoring them into our family. So create a team culture that people cannot resist. A culture that shines so bright through your light and your love and your social media or whatever, that people are just dying to get in and be a part of it. That was right at the beginning of this business. We built a big local team. We were constantly having happy hours and team meetings and this and that. We were having so much darn fun. People just had to be in on it. But they don't dare leave because the team fulfills them even more than the business does. And when the team is fulfilling them and they're passionate about the company, their business will grow. It happens organically. Gosh, let's see. Last little tip that I have here: acknowledge and praise the early success and create a safe place where they want to do more. We talk about this all the time. Celebrate the early wins. Help people get those first 4 loyals and that 100 free product immediately in their first few days. Don't wait for 2 weeks. Help them do a launch party within their first week so you help them get customers. Give them a win. They need to see cash in their pocket at a launch party. They need to see $100 in free product, because what's going to happen when they get that 100 in free product, they're going to get products that they want to use, and encourage them to fall in love with our products. But acknowledge and praise that early success and create that culture, that culture in your team pages, that culture in your group messages, your culture or whatever, that it's safe and it's loving and it's caring and it's a place where they want to thrive and grow and do more. Okay, that's it. 10:04. I really think I did that in an hour. My throat was so sore because I was talking so fast. And I've taken like 2 drinks of water. I will keep the recording going for a few minutes. Any questions? I don't really feel like there were any questions chatted at me. You guys can unmute yourself if you have a question or write a question at me. Otherwise, I will be gone, be done. Anybody have anything? Thank you. You guys, something like this was free. Stay connected to your community. Figure out, you guys, this was unbelievable to be able to go and do this and listen to forward thought leaders in completely different industries. But listen to that. That was 60 bullet points that these thought leaders had in all these different industries that I could relate almost every single one to our business. Chantel, I found it because one of the speakers, there was a Facebook event and one of the speakers invited to me. But if you go to your Facebook events, go to events near me, and it says explore local events. Look through those. Look at universities. We'll have symposiums. Business schools will have them a lot. Big corporations. It was really cool, and it was so fast. I mean, they had it from like 7:15 to 8. You could get coffee and breakfast, and then from 8 to 9, the 60 points went through, and then they had 15 minutes of question and answer, and they live streamed it too. I will see if the event, where they live streamed it to. I don't know if people had to register for a live stream or how that went, but yeah, Chamber of Commerce. But just don't be afraid to get out there in your community. I just was so fired up, and I will tell you guys that I had an amazing call with a life coach yesterday. I had this morning, and then I spent over an hour on the phone with Pam Souter this afternoon, and I am real full of all kinds of self-development right now and so many ideas, and I'm so excited for what's happening for our team, and it's just an amazing time. 2018 is going to just be just incredible. I can feel it deep within me, just this wave coming to rush up. It's gonna be good. It's like we said, there's that sine curve in every business and every action, and we're about to have a really big spike, and that's gonna be so fun. And it's fun to build that culture and do it together. So oh, Kristen, I love that you landed on my team too, even though you're buried in my line. But I'm so happy you messaged me that one day and said, I think I can be exec. Can I call you? And I was like, I don't know you, but sure. And now here you are. All right, guys. Well, it doesn't look like there are, let's see, look up 2 comments. How about tending to people who go into witness protection immediately? Oh, people who go dark? Jennifer, you can unmute yourself. You want to explain your question a little more?
Hey, Ellie.
Hi.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, you're welcome.
Nice to see you. Yeah. When we had the $10 sign up, there were so many people that just jumped on just to get the wraps for $10, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then, and then we've got the ones that come on and they're gung ho and they're doing great. And then you've got the ones that finally get the money together. They're so ready. They're nervous. They're scared. Finally go online, sign themselves, and actually drop off the face of the earth. I can't get phone calls back. No response. Nothing.
I add them to my team page. I tell them where to get their training. I follow up. I say, how can I help you? I want to help you make this business. I remind them of their why.
Right.
My energy, I only have so much energy to expend during the day. And my energy is so much better spent pouring into my team here that is excited and passionate and wanting to grow, or spending my energy reaching out to people who may be sitting at home praying for a miracle and praying for something to change. And so I set them up for success. I give them all the resources, but you can teach a man to fish.
Right.
But if he doesn't ever pick up the pole, you can't do anything about it.
Not eating. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can't force somebody. People don't like to be forced into things. And really, if you did force them, are they actually going to do it? No.
No. If you have to beg them to sign up, you have to beg them to work. So
yeah,
no, that doesn't
want this
work.
more for someone than they want it for themselves. Absolutely. Right. And so it's just, you match their energy. Chantel taught me that. If they're walking, you walk with them. If you're running, you run with them. And if they're sitting on the bench, you're moving on.
Right.
If they're not ready to get in the game, like the star player isn't sitting on the bench.
No.
It's a numbers game. Unfortunately, 75% of people who join a network marketing company across the industry of network marketing never do anything with their business.
Right.
75% of people. So,
and that's on the good side.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, girl. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah. All right. I will see you all. Let's see. I'm making sure I have any questions here. Somebody said I had somebody ignore me for 6 months. Just call me saying they're ready. If they're watching you, they'll come when they're ready. So you guys, I will see you all in 3 weeks at conference. Yay. I can't wait. I know some of you are on my team. I will definitely be seeing you. I hope. I'm trying to get together with various groups, various teams. As far as the conference experience, I will be at Splitsville, the bowling thing, I think. So you guys get to those conference experiences, get to the rallies. If you see me, stop me, hug me, please take pictures because I'm really bad about remembering to take pictures. I cannot wait. You guys, everybody have a fabulous, fabulous night. And we will talk to you soon. Good night.